Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode number 5 of the Industry Insider here on the EKN Radio Network. It's May the 18th, the month of May. Lots going on at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but tons of karting as well. We've already had the SuperKarts USA Spring Nationals in Phoenix. David Cole this weekend at the WK Manufacturers Cup race and pit race. There's so much racing going on, not just now, but as we head into the really meat of the summer too. June, a lot of great racing going on. Excited to have a guest with us here this weekend to talk about the IKF Grand Nationals. Again, my name is Rob Howden. Welcome to the EKN Radio Network and episode number 5 of the Industry Insider. Again, talking about the 2018 IKF 4-cycle and 2-cycle Grand Nationals, heading back to Texas and one of the iconic tracks and clubs in the Lone Star State, North Texas Karters, in Denton, Texas, just a little north of Dallas. The event set to go for June 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th. The old school midweek IKF Grand Nationals. It's summer, kids are out of school. Tuesday to Saturday, ladies and gentlemen, we have Greg Speed, the communications chairperson for North Texas Karters, joining us. Greg, it's going to be a big one. IKF Grand Nationals, you look through some of the storied people that have raced that event, have gone on to bigger and better things, running in top levels of motorsport. But the bottom line is the IKF Grand National is still one of those iconic events, the Duffy up for grabs, and North Texas Karters pairing both the 4-cycle and 2-cycle programs. I think it's exciting. First off, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks a lot, Rob. It's a pleasure to be speaking with you today.
So, I was talking to another promoter yesterday about the fact that it's interesting how little racers understand about how much work goes into putting an event on. You know, they roll in, I've been working on my kart, got the trailer here, all the events going on. There's so much behind the scenes. And first off, we'll talk a bit about how much work's been done. First, let's talk about the excitement at the club, at NTK, about having this big event this summer.
Yeah, sure. Well, you're exactly right. How much work goes into it. I got voted in as the communications chairperson this year, and I bit off a lot. But it's been a great adventure and a great learning experience for myself. But the IKF Grand Nationals, we've already put on the Texas Sprint Race Series. We'll be putting on or helping out with the Texas Pro Kart, hosting those guys in June. But this one's going to be the big one, multi-day event, lots of moving parts. And I guess probably the biggest thing, in my opinion, is just the scope of the people coming in and the event itself. Whereas a regional race, you know a lot of the people. They're coming from around, you've seen them at club races and different stuff like this. This is going to be people from all over the nation trying to gather sponsors nationally and all those things that go into it, as well as putting on killer opening ceremonies. It's just been a lot of work, but it's going to all come together for a great week of racing for these racers. And of course, like you said, we're giving away the Duffy, and the Duffy, I was kind of wondering with the merger of IKF and SCUSA, what was going to happen with it. Now Kuchner said that it's going to stick around, which is great news. But if anything, it's only going to elevate that status, that historic status of winning the Duffy Trophy.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you in the talks that I've had with Tom Kutcher about SCUSA's connection and, let's say, merger, partnership, whatever you want to call it, with the IKF. It's essentially taking the stewardship of that organization, the iconic organization that's been around for so long, the foundation of karting in the early years and through the 70s, 80s, and 90s. In talking with him, everything was about the fact that, man, he understands the history. He raced the IKF when he first raced himself. He understands how important the Duffy is to the sport. And I think that so much history was preserved when they essentially cleared out the IKF offices. They have so much amazing stuff that they've kept. And Tom and I have always talked about putting together a museum for karting one day. And I think he understands that. And I think, number one, the Duffy, the IKF, the Grand Nationals, all something that Tom is focused on preserving, which is great. Now, talking about the event, you made a great point. And I think the fact that you're right, you guys are used to having Texas racers. You have a great time. Everybody knows Denton. there a couple times a year for big races. You guys are going to play host to, racers from the Pacific Northwest, from California, from other areas where IKF is prominent. And you're going to see a lot of new faces that get a chance to come to that track for the first time.
Yeah, totally. We're looking forward to it. I think one of our biggest challenges has been to come up with ways for people to feel like they're part of the Texas tradition, even though they're coming in from out of town. I know, just down the road from North Texas Karters is Texas Motor Speedway, and Eddie Gossage always does a great job of putting a Texas flair on everything. He's the master promoter with everything from the trophies for the NASCAR races to shooting the 6 shooters off. Now we're not going to do that, but we want to make sure that Texans are proud, right? We have our own country here,
and you do.
But we're looking forward to
everything's bigger in Texas.
That's absolutely, and
right?
And we're going to be racing at night. So the races aren't going to get started each day until 2, which, you get qualifying and pre-finals and all that. So the finals are all going to be raced under the lights. And this track, under the lights, under the expansive Texas sky, very flat country, the plains, it's just gorgeous. So everybody coming out, spectators and racers alike, are just going to have a great time racing under the Texas lights.
No, I'll tell you, I can attest to that. I had a chance to announce the race. I think it was back in 2010. It was called MJ Drive. Michael Johnson put on a race for shifter cart guys, and they brought them. I think it was clones back then. Whatever it was, we did this night race at Denton at NTK, and I'm telling you, the carts just look so good under the lights, and the track. It's not a massive 1 mile track like Newcastle. It's more of an old school kind of bull ring kind of racetrack, and the atmosphere and just the hype and the buzz was there because it was under the lights. The carts were slamming off the ground, the curbing, there were sparks.
Yeah, sparks, man.
I love it.
I love seeing the sparks.
Yeah.
They come through turns 4, 5, 6, which is a chicane.
Yeah.
They hit those rumble strips and the sparks just fly. It is quite a spectacle.
You know what? If people are in Texas, either get out there to race, but make sure you go out there to watch as well.
Yeah.
All right, folks. I've got Greg Speed here, the communications chairperson for North Texas Karters. We're talking IKF Grand Nationals. When we come back from this break, we're going to talk a little bit about class structure. Greg will lay out a little bit about the event structure itself, what's going on. Lots more to come here on episode 5 of the Industry Insider.
For over a century, Briggs & Stratton has had a commitment and passion for racing. It's a DNA found in every engine we build today. So whether you kart race, Baja, race quarter midgets, or believe that dirt and snow are just God's way of adding to the challenge, the dedicated spirit of every Briggs & Stratton employee stands at the fence waiting for the green flag to drop. Briggs & Stratton Racing. What powers you?
Like most everything else, karting has always been big in Texas. But these days, it's just getting better and better. Top quality facilities and tracks, truly among the best in the country, dedicated kart shops, and a pure SuperKarts USA regional series with absolutely incredible year-end prizes. That's right, it's the Texas Pro Kart Challenge. The series is dedicated to offering the best program possible, with a national level officiating and technical staff, top quality facilities, exciting prizes, and full e-karting news trackside live coverage with play-by-play by me, Rob Howden. Our next race is set for June 7th, 8th, and 9th, so make sure to mark it on your schedule. We are going night racing at the iconic Denton facility. Yep, it's PKC Texas style under the lights. It's the best racing in Texas, so come challenge yourself and push it to the next level. For more information, visit TexasProKartChallenge.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Episode number 5 of the Industry Insider here on the EKN Radio Network. Again, my name is Rob Howden. Speaking with Greg Speed from the North Texas Karters Club down in Denton, Texas, the iconic racetrack there just north of Dallas. They're hosting the 2018 IKF 4-cycle and 2-cycle Grand Nationals. Greg, you've got both categories. In years past, 4-cycle had their own event, 2-cycle had their own event. You're handing out Duffy. You're handing out the national, the yellow expert plates. Let's talk about class structure. And actually, let's talk about class structure. And I guess you could probably bring event structure in as well, because if I'm not mistaken, you clarified this for me. You're essentially doing 4-cycle in the first couple of days and 2-cycle in the second couple of days. Is that the layout?
Right. Yeah, that's a thought process. So the official event runs Tuesday through Saturday. We are going to offer a Monday NTK practice day. So for a small fee, you come in, you can go ahead and set up on the pit runner and get out there and do some practice. The official practice day is Tuesday, the 26th. So that's the official practice day for the IKF Grand Nationals.
Okay.
And then Wednesday and Thursday, we'll be running the 4-strokes, and Friday and Saturday, be doing the 2-strokes. So we think that's going to help everybody kind of structure their week better, so you don't have to be sticking around and running everything, sticking around for the full 4 days if you don't have to.
What about class structure? What are we doing 4-cycle wise? What are we doing 2-cycle wise? I'm assuming we're going 206 racing, the old Operation Grassroots with Briggs.
Yeah, that's right. And we are going to be running kid carts as well. So Wednesday and Thursday we'll be doing the Honda 4-stroke kid carts.
Yep.
And then all of the LO206s. We got Junior 1 and 2, Senior Light, and Masters on Wednesday. We're also running the Yamaha Super Sportsman KT100s on Wednesday.
Nice.
And then basically, we give everybody another chance to earn a Duffy. The next day, we're going to be running heavies. So it's all the same classes with just a higher weight structure. We'll also be starting the tag Junior, Senior, and Masters on that Thursday. Now, Friday, we run in, and we're going to be primarily, like I said, 2 cycles on Friday and Saturday. Friday, we'll start with the kid cart combers. I love having the kid carts out there. It's inspirational for me watching these little kids, and you've got that pure joy that, these kids out there just having fun, and I love watching the guys. Micro Swift, Mini Swift, all of the X30s, Junior, Senior, Masters. We will be running Senior LO206 Heavy on Friday as well. Then we have the 125cc Honda Senior Shifter, Tag Cadet 1, and Tag Junior 2 on Thursday. And then, like I said, the same structure on Saturday. We'll be doing all of that, just heavy.
I like the fact that you're kind of mixing it up. So if somebody does want to stay the whole time, because personally, I'd probably bring the RV down, set up, and be there all week. And I like the fact that, you got a little 2-cycle mixed in with the 4-cycle stuff in the early days. You got a little Briggs later in the week if you want to have some fun. I like it. I think it's going to be a fun week. And it's, in all my racing up in Canada, everything we did was always on the weekends. Yeah, we had a Grand Nationals that was a little bit, Thursday to Sunday. This midweek thing where it's really kind of, it harkens back to the old school of karting when people lived their sport. That's what they did. Right. And that summer vacation, you packed things up and you drove to wherever the IKF Grand Nationals were. If it was across the country, you were going across the country. You were going to Batavia, New York. You were going to Pat's Acres. You were going down to Atwater, California. You were going to Denton, Texas. You know what I mean? That was, it's going to harken back to that deal where come down, set up your RV or whatever it is, and enjoy a week of our sport.
Heck yeah. Yeah. Come and make an event of it. Bring your cookers and all that sort of stuff. We are also going to have food trucks out there. And
we're talking.
Yeah. Breakfast and through the day. So we're going to take care of you guys, make sure you're well fed. So it's going to be an event. Bring your camper, bring your grills and all that stuff. Let's have fun. And as far as the class structure, we worked hard to make sure that we're going to give people plenty of time. You don't have to be running from one cart, off the scales to the grid and get on another cart. So trying to work this out so it's smooth for everybody and everybody can enjoy themselves.
Let's go back and talk about you guys handing out the Duffy a little bit, because I think that's what everybody's doing it for. You're trying to win a championship in the IKF program. The Grand Nationals are the way to do it, and we talk about this iconic trophy, the most famous and most iconic trophy in all of karting. Really is. It's the Duffy. And it's, Duffy Livingston, obviously, such a huge part of the launch of karting in the early days. Of course, Art Ingles making it all happen in 1956. But Duffy was just such a big part of it. And the Duffy trophy is huge. And, I know that my girlfriend Alicia, her dad won 2 of them. And, talking to Mike Birdsell, he's won them as well. And, to be able to win that Duffy, that's one of those things you put on your trophy case and you say, you know what? I'm in the history books. You guys, the club itself must be thrilled that you're going to line up all these Duffys and give a chance to hand them out to some really deserving individuals.
Yeah, I mean, that is the iconic award in karting is the Duffy. So very happy to see that sticking around. I'm sure that most people listening to this podcast know where the Duffy comes from. But just as a little overview, it comes from Frank Livingston, who was nicknamed Duffy, and they call the award the Joe Karter Award. And if you look at a picture of it, or if you're honored enough to be able to see one in person, it's the kart racer trophy, and then the guy on the trophy is holding a Duffy. And I guess if you got close enough, he'd be holding a Duffy, and then that would be holding a Duffy. So
yeah, I'm sure if you had the original mold, one of the very first ones, I'm sure. Yeah, it just keeps going in perpetuity, right?
Yeah,
to infinity and beyond, right?
Nobody can say karters don't enjoy, having a little bit of fun. So that's really cool. But yeah, it's an iconic award, and we're going to be having them made up, everyone crafted with care, and we're so excited to be able to hand these out.
Awesome. Again, guys, get a great chance to talk to Greg Speed from the North Texas Karters, their communications chairperson, talking all about the IKF Grand Nationals for 2018. Stay with us. After this break, we're going to chat a little bit with Greg about his own racing journey, his own racing adventure with his daughter. Stick with us. More to come here on the EKN Radio Network.
Are you looking for a new kart shop? One that treats you like you're an important customer? If so, look no further than Acceleration Kart Racing. At Acceleration, customer service is number one. We are a full-time karting business, not a hobby or an afterthought. We have all the products you're looking for, from kid karts to shifters, safety to speed. We strive to offer our customers the best products, prices, and service. At Acceleration Kart Racing, we're always here when you need something for your racing program. Located in Las Vegas, Acceleration is stocked with a wide range of products. We've been helping racers get the right parts for over 16 years. Acceleration has everything that a kart racer needs, from turnkey karts to safety equipment, engines, and more, stocking all of the leading kart racing brands. Here's a taste of the products that we carry every day. CRG, Tony Kart, Bennett, Rotax, Honda, Miami, MG Tires, Vinco, Bridgestone, Mojo, Alpine Stars, Sparco, Ribtech, and EVS, Tillett, Micron, Alfano, Bell, Arai, Zamp, KG, Sniper, SweetTech, and K&N. It doesn't matter where you live in the country, we will get you what you need so you can get back on the track. Acceleration has a sufficient supply of products to ensure that your order can be shipped the very same day. Our knowledgeable staff is available to help customers 6 days a week, and ordering online is open 24 hours a day at shopakr.com. For visitors and locals in the Las Vegas area, Acceleration has a large showroom full of the best kart racing products available. Come on in and check it out. To find out more about what Acceleration has to offer, visit shopakr.com. Again, shopakr.com. And make sure to sign up to be on our mailing list to receive the latest updates and promotions that we send throughout the season. Again, we're a one-stop shop. ShopAKR.com.
If you want to drive the best, drive a CRG. Our countless race wins and championships prove this fact, including taking the KZ Finals at the SCUSA Super Nationals and the CIK World Championships in both 2016 and 2017. Our material is second to none. After years of independent American importers, CRG is now managed directly by the factory and run out of our state-of-the-art headquarters in Texas. CRG Nordam is the American arm of the CRG factory in Italy, and we're serious about success. We stock a wide variety of parts in all of our chassis, from the CRG Hero for the mini categories, to the Heron for tag race, the Road Rebel for gearbox competition, and the new FS4, which has been designed specifically for American 4-cycle Briggs racing. If you're ready to step up to the national level, do it with a factory race team that competes across the USA. CRG Nordam is a full factory effort with the best personnel and the finest equipment. We're serious about winning, and you should be too.
Welcome back to episode number 5 of the Industry Insider. May the 18th, the actual date that Greg and I are recording here, just ahead of some amazing events in the motorsports world. This podcast, of course, first being aired on the EKN Radio Network, the live 24/7 streaming program that we have on EKN. Launched it earlier this year. People are really enjoying it. If you haven't yet, you can download the EKN Radio Network app to your mobile device. Just go to iTunes or Google Play, download it, tap it, and you're immediately lined up to our live streaming 24/7 radio network. All karting content, 24/7, 365. And of course, this podcast as well will eventually be uploaded to iTunes. That way you're able to download it as a straight podcast as opposed to listening to it live on the EKN Radio Network. Again, talking to Greg Speed, Communications Chairperson of the North Texas Karters, this year's host for the IKF Grand Nationals, both 4-cycle and 2-cycle. Greg, let's talk a little bit about you and your program itself and how you got into the sport, because really you do a lot with NTK, but bottom line is it's you and your daughter Ashlyn going racing. You guys haven't done this for a long time, have you?
No. This will be our 4th year racing and only our 2nd year doing gas karting.
So you came out of the indoor rank?
Yeah, we got started one day after school. It was about this time of year, winding down school, and I said, "Hey, what do you want to do? Let's go do something fun." Well, what do you want to, what? And I said, "Well, how about go-karting?" She said, "What's that?" My jaw dropped because I knew what it was from, a baby, and I said, "Oh, I think you're going to like this." So we headed over to the Arlington K1 Speed and went in there and put her in a junior kart, and she had one of the best lap times of the month just right off the bat. And I mean, she wasn't bashful. She wasn't like, throttling feathering the throttle and, going around gingerly. She was hitting it. And so I was like, wow, this is cool. I said, hey, we got junior league racing. I'm in. So we started, going up there a lot and working on it. And the guys up there are just so cool. If we went during the day and there weren't that many people, they'd go out and set out cones for her and show her how to take good racing lines and hit the apex and stuff. So we just went on a journey, just learning about karting, about racing, and we're always learning. I mean, I'd put her up against any other kid when it comes to tools or how engines work or carts or cars or anything like that. So we're just loving it. So we got exposed to North Texas Karters, and then the team that we eventually ended up on, Core Karting, through K1. Went out there and took some test drives, and she was hooked. When we got in the car after the first test drive, she goes, "So are we going to do it?" I was like, "Oh, all right." I knew we were on a road. But she ended up winning the 2015 and 2016 Junior League Championship at the Arlington location. So she had a good history there, and we got some sponsors on board, which was really cool, and just started hitting it. And I mean, really, so this is about 2 years that we've been doing it, and she just won the spring championship for the Mini Swift class at NTK, and things are just really clicking for her and me both. I mean, me learning to tune the kart and all that sort of stuff, it's just all clicking. She knows what the numbers mean, and she comes off the track and spits off her lap time, or RPM, and engine temperature, and so she knows that's what I need to know how to tune, and is it getting tight, or all these sorts of things. So it's just been really exciting. This year we're doing the Texas Sprint Race Series as well, which is a regional competition, and just loving it.
Greg, I'll tell you that warms my heart, because there's nothing that I'm happier to see in the paddock is a father-son, father-daughter, mother-son, mother-daughter working together. Mm-hmm. I've said this many times to people that if a father comes to me or a mother comes to me and they say, "Oh, we're having such a rough day," my response is normally, "Oh, I'm so happy for you." and they'll look at me like I'm weird, and I'll say, where else would you get an opportunity? It doesn't happen in any other sport unless you're the coach, and that's always an issue. Where does it happen in any other sport where you and your child can face an obstacle together,
mm-hmm.
and to solve that obstacle and get past it, you have to actually talk to each other, understand each other,
right.
and come to an agreement together, a decision on how you're going to move forward to tackle that obstacle. If you're having a bad day, you got to work together as a team, figure out what you're going to change on the cart to go back out, and be quicker. And I think that is such an amazing thing for parents and children to be able to have that dynamic. And that's not something you can find anywhere else.
Oh,
so when I see a mom or dad wrenching on their kid's cart, I'm like, man, you are doing it right.
Yeah, it's tremendous. And, I've written in her sponsorship packet, I've got a whole page talking about how it's so great as a family experience. But I remember the first ever race, the league race that she did at K1, she got 9th. And she came off and she actually cried a little bit. Now, Ashlyn, she just doesn't cry. She's got to get hit hard to cry. And she's very internal as well. A lot like me, just think, process, doesn't say a lot of words. But she came off and she cried. And I saw that, and I just let her do it. I just let her cry and get through it. And because I knew that that was gonna motivate her to want to do better, and she did. We went out and we worked harder, and we worked on the things that we missed, and then she slowly started moving up, to where she made the podium. But karting is an individual sport. Okay, so most kids, and not to say anything bad about team sports, but it's a team sport, and I played team sports. You're with a team, so if the team loses, well, it's not totally my fault. Well, in karting, if you lose, it's your fault, or it's the equipment fault. You could do something to change that maybe the next time, and it all comes down to you. And for an 8-year-old or a 9-year-old, whatever age you are, when that initial realization hits you that, oh wow, this was on me, it's powerful, and I've seen it in so many kids, especially at K1, where that this is their first times doing it. You just see that initial reaction, like, oh, okay. And man, that singular incident you can see the transformation in them. And that's what I love about it. And then the family aspect of it, we've got a new member out at NTK, and he comes from professional, I'm from Texas, motorcycle racing. And, he said when he was racing, people hid, put covers around their tents. They didn't want anybody seeing what they were doing, the modifications they were making. Everything was secretive. Nobody talked to one another. He was blown away when he came out to NTK, and everybody's like, hey, man, you need some help? Just let me know. And he's been posting on our Facebook group, hey, I need help working on this carburetor. Oh, I've got one you can borrow. The camaraderie and the family, it's unlike anything else I've ever seen.
Greg, I want to touch on this as well, because everything you're saying is what I love about this sport. You guys are in a unique situation as well. And nobody knows this, obviously, by listening to our podcast here on the EKN Radio Network, because you can't see anyone. Greg, you're paralyzed. You're in a wheelchair. You had a bicycle accident when you were 14 years of age. So not only are you and your daughter doing this, but you're doing it for a certain extent with a major disability in terms of your mobility, what you can do. But that's not something you've ever let stop you. And I think you obviously are a huge inspiration to your daughter as well. That's just that unique aspect of you and Ashlyn, that you're in a different situation.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. And, other people have to tell me that, because that's not the way I view the world,
Yep.
I was hit by a car when I was 14 years old riding my bicycle. Before that, I had a motorcycle. I would work on that and sort of stuff. But after the accident, I'm paralyzed from the waist down. I the working on engines and all that sort of stuff kind of went by the wayside. Now, when I got into college, I got into wheelchair sports. I went to the University of Texas at Arlington, and just so happens that college in my backyard is one of the leading colleges for adaptive athletics. And so I started playing wheelchair basketball for them, and was on the team when we got first accredited as an NCAA team. and went on to win 2 years national champions for NCAA wheelchair basketball. And then I got involved in track as well, and turned out I was a really good sprinter. I broke the national record in the 100-meter in 90, and the world record in the 4x100 in 92, and was selected for the 1992 Barcelona Paralympics, where I went to compete in the 100, 200, and 400-meter races. I got to do some cool stuff. I raced at the World Games in England in 90 and 91, got to race in front of Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, and other royalty, and just so many amazing experiences that came out of that. But, now I'm the vice president of United States Olympians and Paralympians Association, the Dallas-Fort Worth chapter, and I speak to youth groups and YMCAs, and we put on Olympic days during the summer to kind of give kids a taste of the Olympics and explain to them, what it's about. But yeah, other people look at me and the word they always use is inspiration, but just, I don't think about things that way. And if people can draw that, that's wonderful. I'm more than happy to do that. But I just like showing people that don't let anything get you down. I was listening to the Bill Burr podcast this morning. I love that comedian. And he said, everybody in the world has it the worst, but there's only one guy in the world who's right. Stop you whining.
Right? Hey, you know what? I think I know where Ashland gets her competitive fire. That's for sure. Yeah. I'll tell you, a great story, and another one of the reasons, why you and your daughter are enjoying the sport right now, because it provides that competitive fire. Now, before we go to break, we'll come back after the break and talk a little about, just kind of wrap things up with the sponsors, what makes it all happen. But hey, you're a fellow announcer as well. This is the thing I really dig about it. You don't get a chance to do it so much because you're obviously working on Ashland's cart, but you've been known to grab the mic a bit too.
Yeah, I do. I love commentating.
Nice.
You just get in there and you get in the zone, like the whole world disappears, like you're calling the race and everything kind of goes away. But yeah, I really enjoy that. This Saturday we're having, this podcast is going to be late, but we're doing the Jim Hickerson Memorial race out at NTK, and he was an amazing commentator. And I only got to hear him a couple of times before he passed away, unfortunately. So we're having this memorial race in his honor. His family's coming out. And people are coming in. Jake French who's over in Dallas, is coming back to this track that he spent so many hours on. And other very accomplished racers are coming in for this honorary race, and it's going to be a great event. But yeah, I love doing the commentating when I can, but most of the time I'm wrenching on Ashland's cart.
I love announcing too, and I think the fact that when you love the sport and you actually love watching karting, you're able to announce well. I call it active spectating because I'm just watching the race, and even if a mic wasn't in front of me, I'd probably be saying the same things in my head,
right?
Just because I just love watching it so much. And
exactly.
So I get a chance to watch, and the stuff that is in my head, I let it come out my mouth, and people seem to enjoy it. So that's great. But you know what? You bring up Jim Hickerson, and I'll end this particular segment here just saying that Jim was one of those guys with such a kind heart. It's his heart that eventually failed him, and we miss him, of course. But Jim was that announcer, and just so great in Texas to be able to connect with, and you saw it in action. He just connected with a young kid so well, right? And I still love doing that and calling the micro and the mini races. Jim was just that guy who really loved connecting with the kids. His style was fantastic, but his connection to the people he was talking about was so impressive.
Yeah, he made nicknames for every racer. Yeah. So Hannah Williams was the boy killer. Just brought it home, man. People loved that about him.
All right, folks, we're going to wrap up this podcast with Greg Speed from North Texas Karters after this break. Stay tuned. More to come. We'll wrap things up on episode number 5 of the Industry Insider.
Hey everybody, this is Chris Wheeler, Director of Motorsports for Bell Racing USA. For the 2018 SCUSA Pro Tour, be sure to check out our partners PSL Karting for all of your on-site needs, from helmets, visors, accessories, and all hardware, so you can stay safe on the racetrack. New for 2018, the CMR KC7 Carbon, the first of its kind, the only carbon helmet in the world approved by the CIK for youth use. Check it out at PSL Karting, and thanks for tuning in to EKN Live.
SCUSA's national number 1 plate, one of the most sought-after trophies in the sport. 3G Kart Racing is the proud owner of a number 1 plate for 2018, thanks to the performance of our championship-winning driver, Jordan Musser. In 2017, Jordan topped the S4 field to win the title aboard his 3G Kart Racing Fisher-powered Barrel. Like Jordan, we're dedicated to winning, and we can help you succeed as well. We're located in Katy, Texas, and we proudly support our local club, the Gulf Coast Karters. We also hit the road to compete regionally in the Texas Pro Kart Challenge and nationally on the SuperKarts USA Pro Tour. We support top-quality race-winning material, Barrel Art, Intrepid, Miami, Fisher, and TrueTech racing engines. From new kart purchase and professional assembly to a full trackside support program, 3G's customer service is second to none. Our extensive inventory, backed by knowledgeable people, will keep you up front on the track.
Ladies and gentlemen, back again with Greg Speed here on the Industry Insider. We're talking about the 2018 IKF Grand Nationals, both 2-cycle and 4-cycle, scheduled for June 26th to 30th at North Texas Karters in Denton, Texas. A night race under the lights. Greg, let's wrap this thing up. I know, these races can't happen without great sponsors. I know you've got a couple. I know you're looking for more as well. Talk about who has stepped up so far to help make this happen, and then also talk about what people can do if they want to be involved in this great event.
Absolutely. So, of course, our big sponsors are Evinco and Briggs & Stratton. We're still putting together our class sponsors. We are actually offering 3 levels of sponsorship this year, and we really want to we do a good job of giving great exposure to our sponsors. You're going to be on the back of our T-shirt. You're going to be in the IKF Rulebook National Event Report. But we're also going to be, every time that the class is mentioned, your sponsor name is going to be mentioned. But we're offering 3 levels this year. We've got the standard class sponsor for $600. Then we have the gold class sponsor, which is the class sponsorship. But you also get a pit pass and 4 full event passes for the full week. And then we have our vendor sponsor for $1,000, which you get a 10 by 10 foot tent space to show your products and to interact with people and stuff like that. So if you are interested in that, and also if you're interested in registering, we have a dedicated section of our website set up. That's ntkarters.com/IKF. Go there, and we've got all the information, the schedule. We have a special arrangement set up with an area hotel, so you get a discount for your stays. We've got links to local food areas, and then we also have a really cool section, a historical section, and we've got links to results from previous years. We've got a lot of cool YouTube videos that we've pulled that show races all the way back to 1971. You hear the little clickety-click of the 8mm reel.
I love it.
Yeah, go check that out. ntkarters.com/IKF. And, of course, be sure to register.
Yeah, you know what? This is going to be one of those events, I think, with the rebirth and rebranding of the IKF. I think it's going to be one of those events where people get out and have a really good time. Night racing number 1 is awesome. Denton, the track itself, the iconic kind of bull ring, got some straightaways, got some bowls, got the chicane, like you said. You guys are putting together what I think will be just a tremendous event. Now, they can follow you on Facebook as well. You guys have a Facebook page?
Yes, yeah. NT Karters, North Texas Karters on Facebook. We do Instagram, we do Twitter. So however you want to follow us, we would appreciate it. And we do a pretty good job of keeping everybody up to date on there. So come give us a follow.
And we'll make sure that we push out all the Facebook. We'll push out the registration page on ekartingnews.com as well. So keep a lookout for that, because this is an event that you want to put on your schedule. Go have some fun, head to Texas, and put Cross Denton off your bucket list, because that's just one of those venues that you really want to be at. Greg, any final thoughts to wrap up the Industry Insider?
Well, I do want to, I forgot to mention, it's my fault, Wednesday at 2:00, we're going to have the opening ceremonies, and the
nice.
Denton Police Department Honor Guard will be presenting the colors, and a local star, Monica Saldivar, who won the Tejano Idol competition in 2015 and is just doing an amazing job in the recording industry right now, coming out with singles. She will be doing our national anthem. She sings for she's done Dallas Mavericks games, and she's done soccer games and all this sort of stuff. So it's going to be a great opening ceremonies, and we're going to throw some surprises in there as well.
Well, Greg, thank you so much for being with us, ladies and gentlemen. It has been an absolutely tremendous opportunity to talk to Greg Speed from North Texas Karters. The 2018 ICAF Grand Nationals is going to be a fantastic one. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you get down there and have some fun. Again, a big thanks to Greg Speed for joining us here on the Industry Insider. Thank you so much for dialing into the EKN Radio Network. More to come. So, ladies and gentlemen, have a great summer. I've been Rob Howden. Bye for now.